Hello, welcome back. This is me playing on Sky Poker, a W money tournament, £3. Now if you're familiar with these W money tournaments, it's 6 players and the 3 remaining players end up doubling their money. So the final 3 out of the 6 will end up walking off with £3 to get in, so you'll win £6, you'll be £3 up. I play these all the time because there's only 6 players, it's quick, and you only have to finish in the top half to double your money. It's all about tactics, you know, and that's the point of these videos. Is I'm going to talk you through my tactics. I'm going to show you how I play and talk a bit about poker strategy, poker tactics. Now look, I've got low kicker, but no, it's been checked round. So ace high, no one had anything because it had been checked round. I was happy to put in a little bet there. Everybody folded and won the pot. Now that's what you should do. If everybody checks and everybody keeps checking, nobody's putting in a bet, even if you haven't got anything, put in a bet. If someone, you know, if someone calls you, yeah, they might have something, or someone re-raises, then you can think about folding. But it's been checked round twice there. Confident no one had anything, put in a bet. My ace high, scared people off, they folded. Now you'll find players will be tight. It's the way to play these tournaments at the early stage, like in in the early stages of and I know we're about 10 minutes into this tournament. I'm getting another ace here with a 9 kicker. Have a look. Someone's raised it. Is my ace 9 good enough to call? Is it worth calling for an extra 50? Yeah, it's worth calling. I'll have a look at an extra 50. If you put in a re-raise there, if you raised it up for a few hundred chips, I might have thought about it, may be able to fold it, but you know, at the early stages of W money tournaments, I really do suggest playing tight. Only calling and raising when you know you've got a good hand. Now he's bet again here. My ace 9 doesn't look good, so I fold. Alright, an ace has come up on the turn, but now look at him, he's putting a bigger bet. So has he got a better kicker than a 9? He probably did. So I'm glad I folded at that stage. Perfect hand here, pocket aces. This is what you best hand to start with in poker. Now this is what you want someone to raise when you know you've got a great pocket hand like this. So what do? You re-raise. So you know, if it was late in the tournament, I didn't have many chips, I'm definitely throwing them all in. So I'm going to re-raise him up here, no question about it. Nothing scares me on the flop, no straight or flush draws. So I'm quite happy to put in another bet here. I've checked it, so he's put in a bet, and I'm going to re-raise. Now he's putting 300 chips. I've got like 1600 chips there. At that, you know, looking at the chip stacks, you know, it's no point me re-raising to 600 or 900 chips. I'm going to commit him. I know my hand's good enough at that stage. I'm happy enough to throw them all in, and that scared him off, and he folded. Now that's a reasonable pot size to win there, and that's what you got to think about when you do re-raise. How much should you re-raise? Well, how much is your chip stack? How much is your opponent's chip stack? You know, there's a straight draw here. I need 4 or 9, so I'll check it. I could bet it, but look at the size of the pot. 100 chips, it's not a lot. I'll happily check it all the way through. So as you make bets, alright, so he's won with his pair of 2s. You know, I could have bluffed him out the pot, but for 100 chips, I'm not going to risk making a bluff at this stage. You know, I'm talking about strategy. Question how every decision you make. You know, how much should you bet? Depending on how many chips you have left, which is your chip stack, how many chips your opponent has, what possible draws are there that would scare your opponent off, how good is your hand. On these short tournaments now, the blinds like quite a bit of your, where are we, so I think they're 50 or 100, so at this stage I don't want to be pushing all in until I've got, my rule is 10%. I will go all in when I've got 10%, when the big blind is 10% of your chip stack. So if we've got 2,000 chips and the blind's 200, at that stage I'm never going to bet, I'm always going to go all in. It hasn't got to that stage yet in the game. As the game progresses towards the end, people will be going all in. It gets to that stage where the blinds get so high, there's no point in betting, you just throw all your chips in. But it's all about getting to that stage. To get to that stage, you've got to be patient. You don't want to be called in with rubbish hands. You don't want to be betting when you know you haven't got that good a hand that you could get beat. So look at what you got. Think to yourself, Jack Ace, 8 hearts, not a bad hand, but there he is. He's raised it. Is this a hand worth calling for 300 chips? No, it's not. Jack 8 suited is not a great hand to call. If it was only 50 chips to call with, I would have had a look. So it's all about decision making, playing it tight to begin with. 8-10, not a bad hand, but I'm the first one in it, so I'm not bothered. Get out of it. It's not a great hand. My strategy is I'll only call or raise if I've got a good hand to start with. A pair, 10, anything over a 10, like a 10 jack, 10 queen, 10 king, 10 ace, jack queen, jack king, aces, ace with a medium kicker. Good starting hands. If it's a good starting hand, I'm always call or raise. But make that decision. How many chips have you got left? Should you be calling or should you be pushing all your chips in, depending on how big the raise or the blinds are. So it's all about decision making and the strategy. You can be tight early on in the tournament because the blinds are low. You're slowly building up your chip stack. As the blinds get bigger, you're under more pressure, and you want to change your strategy and be more aggressive. But literally, you get a good hand, put all your chips in, or raise. Everybody's folded, and I had a rubbish hand, 10-4. That would happen sometimes. Great, I keep my blind. 2-10, rubbish hand, fold. We just see this tournament go through, and when examples come up where it's worth commenting on about a certain strategy I've used, I mention it. But like I said, 6 queen, I'm not interested in having a look. If I call here, queen 6 is not a good hand. I'm beat most of the time, so save my chips. This is the tactics. Simple as it sounds, only play good hands. I'm not under any pressure here. The blinds are reasonably low. I've got a reasonable chip stack. Just take my time. When a good hand comes up, then we start playing it. You know, it's only 6 players. Like here, players will play against each other, and what you're hoping is in these tournaments is that other players will knock each other out, and you won't have to do anything. Great if you can knock them out, you build up, you know, your chips. But another player knocks another player out, great, we're down to 5. You just want to get down to that final 3. Nice starting hand, ace jack. So let's see how this plays out. Yeah, I called it. Could raise it here. But by just calling, that's known as limping in. I'm limping in for jack ace as a good hand. The only thing that scares me here is diamond flush draw. It's been checked, so it's unlikely anybody's got anything. And another diamond comes up. Now has somebody got 2 diamonds? Has somebody on a flush draw? Check. So nobody's betted it. So I'm thinking, no, nobody's got a flush here. Checked again. So nobody's making any moves here. So no one scared me. I've got ace high. I'm going to put in a bet. You know, I'm going to pretend I'm the one with the flush. You know, or 3/8. You know, I can afford to put in a minimum bet because of my chip stack. I'm not risking my tournament or anything, and that made him think about it. So in situations like that, and you'll see it quite a lot, other players keep checking it round, nobody's putting a bet because everybody's playing it tight. That's a good chance, that's a good opportunity to bluff and pretend you've got something. You know, why not? If you can afford to. It's been checked round. So that was a good example there. Now all these little pots, now 2,700 odd chips, all these little pots you win, they all add up. You slowly build up your chip stack. You're not throwing money away, you know, putting a minimum bet there. You know, if someone would have gone over the top because someone was playing it slow with a flush or something, you know, I could have folded and got out of the way and I hadn't lost a lot. So that's known as sort of asking a question. Putting a minimum bet, I asked the question. And that's another little tactic. So it gets checked round. Ask a question. Puts in a minimum bet. You know, you've got a good hand to start off with, like that ace jack. Maybe I probably should have raised pre-flop. You know, get a good starting hand. Raise pre-flop. That's the way to do it. Gets checked round. Ask a question. Put in a bet. You know, so let's have a look. So 5-7, rubbish, fold. You know, it's all about value. You know, there's still 6 players left. You know, I haven't got a great hand to start with. I'm building up my chip stack. There's no point in calling. So I fold. You know, play it tight. 6-3. Put in the big blind already. Check it. Or if someone raises, fold. It's not worth doing anything with 6-3 off suited like that. Even if they were suited, still rubbish really. So not worth trying to save your big blind. I can, you know, look at your chip stack. You can afford my chip stack here. I can afford to waste 150. Everybody folded round anyway, and I keep my big blind, and that's really handy when that happens. As you know, you put in a big blind, everybody folds. You keep your big blind, and that's you don't lose anything. So that's lovely when that happens. Good hand here. Ace 8 of hearts. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm up against one other player here. So he's only got 1,300 odd chips. I'm going to raise it. You want to play me? You're going to have to pay, because I'm only up against you. I've got a good hand. You know, you're not going to call me. You're going to probably go all in, and I'm prepared to call you if you do go all in. That's what you got to think about. You know, if someone does go over top of you, re-raises you, are you prepared to push all your chips in? Is your hand good enough? Or ace 8 suited, I was prepared to put all my chips in that stage. Ace queen, again, I'm prepared to put all my chips in. So 3 players left, raise it up. So raise. The other player's waiting for a good hand, obviously, if it's 1300 odd chips. Now he's put me all in. Now this is when he's put his chips in first before me. Now if he would have checked it, I'm not sure what I would have done, but he's got a pair of kings. I think he's probably got a pair of kings there. So, and I hadn't got anything apart from ace high. So I'm getting out of the way. So I went in with the minimum raise there, raised up to 400. He bet me with his probably got a pair of kings. He's winning at that point. I haven't raised of a huge amount. I didn't put him all in. I'm still in the tournament. This is you've got to be very careful. If I would have gone all in there with my ace queen, he would have called me with his I don't know, king jack or something, and the rest of the flop went, and he ended up winning with his pair of kings. I would have lost a lot of chips. So be careful. I could afford to put a minimum raise in there. Another nice hand. What do? Raise it. Okay, I'm prepared to put all my chips in. Because the blinds are going up now, and I don't want. It's not a raise at this point. I'm being aggressive. Be aggressive. The chips are going up. So ace jack against king jack. It was nice to see they both had a jack and my ace is betting his king. Lucky enough, a king didn't come up. I've taken him out of the game. So 1 down, 5 to go. 2 to go, because it's the final 3 we'll go through. Pair of 5s, straight draw, need a 3. I'll check it. Look, he's got 1900 chips, I've got 4000 odd. If he bets it here, I'm getting out. I'm not interested. Oh, hold on. Yeah, he's only bet 200 a minimum, so I can afford to pay 200 to see the next card, to see the turn. Another 200. Keep it, mate. Take it. Unless a 3 comes up in the river, I'm beat. There we are, showing off he had a pocket aces, so he had 3 aces. But if a 3 come up, I still would have beat him with a straight. So he was betting. You see the mistake he made there, actually. He was betting a minimum bet, trying to rope me in with his £200 bets. If a 3 would have come up, I would have had him beat with a straight. Straight beats 3 of a kind. So, and you think we're going to see another player lose his chips here? Or lose most of his chips. Yeah, I mean, he had pocket aces. If that was me, as I've been explaining, I would have pushed them all in. I wouldn't have allowed my opponent to pay 200 chips to see another card. Not when my opponent's got 4,000 odd chips like I have. So look at how many chips your opponent has got and ask yourself that question. If my opponent wants to call me, he's going to have to call all of it. I'm going to put a maximum bet in. I'm going to go all in. In the end, I wasn't prepared to pay another 200 chips to see the rabbit or the final card, the river card. So I could have paid 200, seen the river if it was a 3, lovely. But I had enough chips that I was happy enough just to fold, take it away. You have it, not interested, because I've already paid 200 chips. I'm being conservative. So it's questionable. Yeah, he could pay another 200 chips, see the river card. He shouldn't have allowed me. He should have charged me. That was the point I'm making. He should have charged me a lot more to see the turn card and the river. To see those. It's knowing when to fold, really, and keeping hold of your chip stack. And now look, he's put me all in. I'm not going to call with a 2-9. So I'm holding on to the chips I've got. This is the way to play. You got every decision. You got to judge it. Is it worth paying what the opponent's charging me when he's bet. I'll have a look at that price at a 10 king. So let's have a look. Okay, nothing here. I could bet it, but I'm happy to check it. I think if he's got nothing, he's going to check it. So he's going to bet it here. Is he on a flush draw? Maybe a club flush draw. Again, I can afford to get out at this stage. I don't need to pay to see the next card. So, play it tight. Know when to fold. That's one of the best advices most people can give you when playing poker. Look, I put him all in here. He's going to raise up to 900 chips. I thought about it. I thought about putting them all in with my ace 9, and I thought, I can hang on. I've still got 3,000 odd chips. I don't need to do anything drastic just yet. If I had ace king, ace queen, pair of queens, definitely a pair of kings, pair of aces, no question I would have put them all in. To ace 9, I thought about it, but where I am in the tournament with my chip stack there, I'm happy enough to fold. So when you're making decisions, look at how many chips you've got and make your decision based on that. Now this Gaz box here, he's 4-jack. He was running very low on chips. That's another one bites the dust. 4 players left. Blinds are going up each time. So you'll see players start to push now, because the blinds are 10% of their chip stacks, and now you'll see the different tactics coming into play. Everyone's folded it around to me, lovely. Now different tactics, the blinds are 150, 300, each, there's 450 in the pot each, so it's not, if you're going to bet or re-raise, you might as well put all your chips in. I mean, I'm saying that, I just called there for 150, which I probably should have folded, going by played a bit more tighter, but I thought to myself, I can just about afford £1, 150 chips there to have a look at the flop with my 9-10. I had a look, I got nothing, get out of the way, and game crashed. Unfortunately, if this happens to you playing Sky Poker online and it crashes like this, just do what you need to do. Just refresh the web page, go to my Sky Poker, my tables, find your table and launch the tournament, relaunch it. But yeah, as I was saying, the blinds have gone up now. There's 4 players left. It's going to get very aggressive. It's going to come to a point very soon where everyone's got roughly about the same amount of chips, just under 3,000 chips, at 2,800 average chip amount everybody will have now. So I'm back in, and you'll see the computer run much faster now. I've refreshed everything. But yeah, everyone's got roughly the same. Everyone pretty soon will have roughly the same chip amount. There's 4 players in. Whoever loses their chip is going to be out, and the last 3 are going to double their money. What do? You play only one way now. You get a good hand, you push all your chips in. You get a bad hand, you fold. You look at the hand you've got and you ask yourself a question: am I happy to risk my tournament life betting on this hand? 4 ace. Am I happy to risk my tournament life on 4 ace suited? Yes, I am. At this stage, definitely am. Ace suited, not a great kicker, a 4, but I risk my tournament life. Sure, I will. Push him in, no question. He wants to call me. It's gonna cost him all his chips. He knows that, and because the blinds are so high, when you steal these pots, you're stealing 450 each time. Now they've just gone up the blinds, so it's 200 and 400 now. So each of these pots you steal, I mean, he's raised half his chip stack there. He should have just pushed. And that's what I'm talking about. You won't see me do that at this stage. Like I was saying, blinds are 400. If you've got if I had 4,000 chips, I'm pushing. Anything under 4,000 chips, I'm definitely pushing, because that's what the 10% rule I was talking about. He knows the game. This guy here, put your chips in. And this is what it's going to be like now. Here I am on the button. A 5 queen, not great, but I'm happy to check it. Always happy to check it, of course. It's been folded around to me. Great, I'll keep my big blind. So this could go either way, but you've got to be you're brave. If you've got a half decent hand or a good hand at this stage, pushing your chips in. If you go out because you're unlucky, you've gone in with a good hand and you go out, you was unlucky, you got busted, but you can hold your head up high saying I made the right decision. But there's odds are it's all about playing the odds, as you know, with poker. So let's look at the odds. I've gone in, go all in with a good hand. I've got my odds are with me to win it. Haven't got anything, fold. But if you keep folding because you're never getting a good hand, eventually you'll be blinded out the game, right? So there might come a time where you just have to push with a rubbish hand and hope people around you fold, or you get lucky like I am, and every time I go on a big blind, people are folding around me. That's great. Pocket queens, no question about it. Anyone goes all in here, right? He's raised it, right? I'm happy to go out the tournament with my pair of queens. You gonna call me? No, he's folded. He played it a bit too tight there. He did, but great. I'll take your 800 chips. Queen 2, rubbish, fold. It should be that simple, simple strategy. It works for me. You're playing the odds, and that's what poker's all about. Trying to make the right decisions based on the odds. But as we saw earlier on in the tournament, there's little strategies you can do where you play it tight earlier on, people check it round, you put in a bet, you only call or raise when you've got a good hand, and hold on to your chips. Slowly build your chip stack up. You get a great hand, push, put all your chips in, not too early. It depends what the blinds are like. So they're the sort of strategies that I use. King 9, I'm not going to risk my tournament life on King 9. I've got 4,000 odd chips. I'm still in the game here. I'm well in the game. I don't need to worry about calling with a King 9 at that point. If it was a King Queen, pair of kings, yeah, definitely. But a King 9, I folded there. It's the right thing to do. Pair of 5s again. Questionable. What do? You could put all in. I've got 4,000 chips. Never had 2,000 chips. I'm going all in because I couldn't really make a decision. I thought, yeah, I can afford to actually call this. So call. Have a look at the flop. Pair of 6s beat me. Pair of 10s, pair of 8s beat me. I'm beaten most of the time now. So no question about it. Fold. But yeah, I'd built up enough chips there that I was able to call with my pair of 5s. If I had like 2,000 odd chips left, I'm going to risk my tournament life on those pair of 5s. So that's when you make the decision on whether you want to call or bet. How many chips have you got left? Do you need to push? Can you afford to call? Can you even afford to fold? You could just, if you've got a massive chip stack compared to the other 3 players, and there's 4 of you, you can fold a lot of the time, because sooner or later one of the other 3 players, you only want one player to get knocked out, and you'll be in the top 3 who will win. So in W money tournaments like this, you've got a big enough chip lead. Let the other players knock each other out. 9 jack suited, quite a good hand. It's one of those hands you want to call with. Now he's made the decision for me. Right, don't need to call. He's all in. Don't need to call it. Ace 4. I mean, he's putting these silly bets in. He just wants to throw all his chips in at that stage rather than putting it. It's either all in or nothing for him at that minute. But I'm not bothered about what he's doing. I'm asking myself a question every time. Am I going to pay a half of my chip stack to see the flop? I'd never call it anyway. I'd re-raise all in. Ace 4. Didn't think that it was worth going all in. And here we are, Ace 4 again. But in this stage, I'm the first person to put my chips in. No one's raised before me, so now I'm putting the pressure on other people. So this is another tactic. You're gonna raise pre-flop. The rule is you want to be the first person to put your chips to raise first. You want to be the first person to put your chips in. That was a typical example there. Ace 4, he put his chips in before me. I folded. I had Ace 4. I was the first person to put my chips in. I put my chips in first and everybody else folded. Put your chips in first. That's the rule there. So I think we're getting towards the end now. You see, everyone's sort of following the same strategy now, waiting for that good hand, and they get the good hand. They put all their chips in. You need a bit of luck. You need a good hand to come along, and you don't need a run of bad hands. Ace 4 suited, that looks good to me. Good enough to put all your chips in. All in. So if I go out, I can go out saying, you know what, I made the right decision. I went out, I was unlucky, but I made the right decision. And that's what you've got to think like. You know, you don't want to be betting, you don't want to be calling at this stage. The blinds are too high. You've got to get aggressive. So yeah, I hope you take something away from these videos. I'll hope to do a few of them. But yeah, quick tournaments to increase your bankroll, make money playing poker. Now look, he's gone all in, the other player's gone all in. I've got nothing, right? 5-9. Even if I had something, what's the point of me? I'm just going to fold. Let them two knock each other out. Gets 3 10s. You think he's got 3 10s, but no, look, he's actually got the queen there, so he's got a straight. So that's seriously dented the guy's chip stack. He's only got 500 odd chips. He's going to throw them all in. The one now, because that player before me has called him, I don't need to call him. You two battle it out. I'm gonna sit here, or you three battle it out. I'm gonna sit here comfortably, hoping that the player who's gone all in will be out, and we walk off in the top 3, which we have done, and there you are, doubled in money. Thanks for watching.